So another question that we get asked quite often is, I'm a homeschooler. Can I start Project 7
Yes.
clubs? Say it. Can you say that again?
Yes.
Yes. You're a homeschooler. Homeschoolers, raise your hands.
I was.
Okay, yeah, I was not. I went to public school. I don't have the experience of doing that. If you're a homeschooler, yes, you can start P7 clubs. Will it look different than a traditional P7 club?
Yes.
Yes, it will. So there's been a few different examples of P7 clubs that are homeschooler led that I want to just walk you through a couple of those examples. You have to do what works for you. You have to do what works for your family. There was two girls from Missouri, actually, that were involved in their community. They were homeschoolers, but they were involved in musical theater in their area. They met with people. They met friends, through the musical theater, through serving in the community, and they invited people over to their house for dinner. I think it was every Thursday.
Yep.
And they led a thriving P7 club. They didn't go to a public school, but they had, a couple dozen people come over to their house for dinner every night. Sometimes it was like popcorn, sometimes it was pizza. That doesn't matter. But they invited people into their home. And so if you're a homeschooler, home is a great place to invite people to.
Super easy.
Yeah, like it's especially if your parents are up for it, they're on board. If your parents are like, you got to get out of the house, you got to do something different.
Go to the park.
Yeah, you can go to the park. Go to a Starbucks. Go to a Dunkin' Donuts. Go somewhere else. There's another P7 leader that I met in Illinois last year, that their club or their school wasn't allowing any clubs, no clubs whatsoever, and it was really sad. But they said, okay, we'll take our P7 club to the restaurant across the street. And so after school, I think it was every Tuesday, they would go to that restaurant, get food, they get coffee, and they'd have their club right there. So as a homeschooler, you can do that. And guess what? You don't need anyone's approval for that one either.
Yeah, it's easy.
You don't need. You need your parents' approval. Sure. You need to connect with your pastor, your youth pastor, but you don't need a principal's approval. So it's significantly easier. The flip side of that is, high school students, middle school students, they're constantly surrounded by the sea of people all around them. The opportunities to connect with people are all around. And so, in every one of your classes, there's going to be 15, 20 kids, and you can look around and hey, do you want to come to this P7? Do you want to come to this P7? Homeschoolers, you're not going to have that opportunity. You're constantly surrounded by, like, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, maybe someone else across the street that you borrowed their bicycle one time. So you have to anticipate that and respond to that. Yeah. So what I've seen here in the area, I think some homeschoolers get a bad rap of being isolated and not included in things, and they're all shy. It's not true.
No.
If you've met any high schoolers, any homeschoolers, it's not true.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We love you.
Homeschooler. He's kind of crazy. But you have to be intentional with that. So what I've seen here in the area is there's some homeschoolers that they're home all day, they're home all week with their families, but on the weekends they're involved in the community in something.
Yeah.
One of them plays soccer in a community soccer league. One of them plays basketball at the YMCA every Saturday. One of them plays football through the YMCA program every Saturday as well. And so through these connections, they're meeting people outside of the faith. They're meeting people that are not Christians. Yeah. I think it's crucial, homeschoolers, that if you're going to lead a P7 club, you have to get involved in the community somehow. Whether maybe that's a job. You have a job and you're connected with a lot of people, through your workplace, or you're involved in a volunteer opportunity. Get involved, do something in the community, because you've got to increase the amount of people that's around you that need Jesus. Yeah. Of course, if it's one person, if it's a brother or sister and you're teaching them a lesson, that's great. I'm not knocking that. But there are people that need you. There are people that don't have Jesus that need your testimony. Yep. And so get in other people's worlds. So if you're attending a public school, you're constantly surrounded by those people. If you're a homeschooler, it's going to take a little bit more work. Yeah. But you also have a ton more flexibility to have P7 when you want to. It doesn't have to be, right after school or before school. It can be at night. You don't have to find a teacher. So there's tons of opportunities for homeschoolers to get involved. And we want to hear those homeschool testimonies.
Yes.
Because we believe that God is going to open doors for homeschoolers like crazy. And so if you're a homeschooler and you got questions, DM us, send us an email. But we want to celebrate with you because we believe that homeschoolers are powerful kids that can do amazing things.
Yeah, and so just a few testimonies to build your homeschool faith. We had a young lady in our youth group who comes from a big family, right? So big family, if you want to be a blessing to your parents, older kids, start to disciple your younger siblings if you're homeschooling. The reason being is your parents are they're stretched. They're like, hey, we need help. So we had a young lady who's like, I'm going to disciple my little brother.
That's cool.
She prayed her little brother through the Holy Ghost and then was able to help get him baptized. It's just cool. But homeschool.
Yeah.
Homeschool.
Amazing.
She took a part of her curriculum. And then we've got other students, as Seth has mentioned, who are involved in sports. Like a homeschool association, which I think is kind of funny. They have a homeschool association for sports. And I'm like,
I love it.
That's great. Easy way though, but every Saturday, those kids are meeting with their team and they're saying, hey, you believe kind of similar to me. Let's talk about that. And it created this unique opportunity where we've seen students baptized and filled with the Holy Ghost. Yeah. But it can be done. And as Seth mentioned, we want to know about it because we want to be able to share with what God is doing and the flexibility that this may be something where you look at and say, okay, I'm surrounded by my brothers or sisters, or maybe I'm the only one in my family right now that's homeschooled.
Yeah.
Spend time in prayer saying, God, lead me to one, whether it's through your job or community involvement. But reach for one disciple who you can say, they're not where they need to be. Let me help bring them to Jesus like I know Jesus.
Yeah.
And that could look like you said, at the restaurant, at a job, or something along those lines. Or it could just be someone that you meet at the library that you can tell is hurting.
Yeah.
But when you're in prayer and when you're seeking God, God's going to give you illumination to what's going on and to say, hey, this person needs me.
Yeah, sensitivity.
And everybody needs Jesus.
It's good.
Everybody.
Yep.
And everybody you come in contact with is a candidate to say, hey, let me tell you who Jesus is. And especially at the homeschool level where it's going to look different, it's going to feel different. But at the end of the day, you have the same authority and the same power as everybody that goes to a public high school to start a P7 and to produce to what God is looking for.
Absolutely.